Okay, why don't we go ahead and come back together? Thanks. So hopefully all the breakout sessions were valuable and you were able to work through the material. Now we're going to come back together and I'm going to hand it over to Mary as soon as she makes her way up here. And we'll process these remaining lessons, 2, 3, 4, and 5, using the knowledge that you generated in your discussions and share those with the full group.
Well, hello, and I have a helper. Mark is going to help with this also. The second, third, and fourth lessons, as you've found in pieces around the room, gives the students the skills that they need to start making some saving and spending decisions on their own. And you'll find that when children start doing this on their own and not being told by a parent necessarily or an adult how to do that, it starts to become a much more effective way for them to learn this. And if you just think back in your past, when you finally started taking some control of those decisions, it's a good feeling, sometimes a bad feeling. And so our goal is to give them the skills through this that will help them make those decisions in a better way. They will learn goal setting, and we're going to cover starting the first lesson here on some of that right away, short-term and long-term. They are going to develop a strategy for saving. They will actually chart out their goal and how long and how to save for that goal, and also a little bit on what types of products are out there to save in, everything from the sock and the drawer all the way up to the savings accounts. When we say at the top there where it says saving starts with wanting more, and I think that is so true. If you just kind of turn it around, the desire to want something is very motivational or inspirational to start making a plan to achieve that. And that's what we want to encourage them to do. So Mark, if you will come up and lead us through then the key points here.
What we're looking at is basically with the students starting out with basically their wish list of things that they would like. It could be short term, it could be long term. Actually, we'll have some of both, actually. And then from those wants, then they would start to think about what things do I want to save for, and they'd ultimately narrow it down to like their top one thing. And then look at what that cost would likely be. We talked about several things as far as possible issues with this. What happens if this child or one child has very little access to money compared to a child that has a lot of access to money, and how do you deal with that? One of the things we talk about with that is perhaps talk more about the money that you earn or are able to earn or in the next few years to earn as opposed to money that you're given. That could help equalize things a little bit. But once you start looking at the possibility of income, then you can start looking at, okay, are these goals or is this thing I'm saving for actually realistic? And so we had mentioned the iPad. If I had that as my short-term goal and I have very little money I'm making, well, then that in and of itself gets shifted to a long-term situation. How much detail do you want me to go with this?
I think we should go into the challenges a little bit on what we thought would be challenges to the lesson.
Another challenge we had talked about is what happens if a parent gives you no choice as far as what your money is, or what happens with your money. I've had a few students talk about they hate their savings account because that's where money goes to die. That they do everything they can so money doesn't go into their savings account because they're not allowed to spend that. One of the things they then can ask their parents about is, since we save money for a later date, what is it I'm saving for? And so that lockbox idea, their parents maybe haven't communicated with them the idea of where does that money go from birthday or grandma or wherever it goes from. So that would be one thing to talk about, and that would be a way for your students to start communicating with their parents some of those basic questions. Another challenge is, what happens if you have a child who their parents borrow money from them or their parents need money from them? Then we could start talking about one of the things we said with that idea is all of us should be saving some money for things we don't know about yet, things that come up. And perhaps your parent had something that came up, and so you are having a chance to help out with something like that.